Hello! Welcome to episode 22 of Here's the Story. I'm Amy Storrie, and I'm the host of Here's the Story. So glad that you're here joining me today or later, if you're watching this later on YouTube or on my Facebook page. By the way, that reminds me, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, it's called Stamped with Joy, and my Facebook group is called Joyful Stampers Group. Both of those. Be sure and join the Facebook group and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would appreciate it. And also, whenever you watch on Facebook, if you share it, that helps me out too. So I would appreciate if you share this video too, so that I can have more people getting to watch. So anyway, hope everybody is doing well. It is very, very hot here in Texas. I'm in Denton, Texas, by the way, if you don't know that. It's, I don't know what it is today, over 100, I'm sure. Let's see what my watch says. 103 out there right now, and that's not even with the heat index, so who knows? It probably feels hotter. It's like an oven out there. But I'm nice and cool inside, so that's good. It's a perfect day to be inside stamping. And before we get started stamping today, I just want to remind everybody that today, what is today? July 19th, Stampin' Up! Is having a 24-hour stamp sale. So all of the stamps in the annual catalog, which is pretty much most all of the stamps, are on sale today, 15% off. So it's a great day to stock up on some of those stamp sets you've had your eye on. I've already put in an order for some that I've been wanting. So be sure to take advantage of that. And we still have bonus days going on. And you get a $5 coupon for every $50 you spend. And then you get to redeem those in August. So it's a great day to shop. You save money, you earn coupons. Yay! Hi, Andrea. Yes, I'm glad stamping is an indoor sport as well. Because I don't want to be outside. Yeah, so those are the sales going on right now. The stamp sale goes through midnight tonight, so take advantage of that. The bonus days goes through July 31st, so we've got another week or so of that. I don't even know when July 31st is. I don't know. It's a week or so from now. So anyway, I'm excited for today because I'm going to focus on a technique today, or I guess it's a product, but it's a kind of a product that requires techniques to use it. It's embossing paste. It's been around for a while. Stampin' Up! Has had it for quite a while, but it's just kind of an overlooked product. Sometimes, I know for me it is. I just forget about it and don't use it a lot, but it makes really cool backgrounds for one thing, and that's what I'm going to show it today, is a couple of different background ideas. So let me switch cameras here. Get on my desk cam. Okay, so I'm going to be using, and okay, I'm going to use the Shimmery White Embossing Paste. It also comes in just plain white. I like the shimmery because it's sparkly, and I like sparkly things. But this is the Shimmery White Embossing Paste. It comes in these little containers, and it comes in this baggie. I recommend keeping that baggie and keeping it in this sealed up when you get it, because it doesn't have a forever shelf life. It will dry out over time, but to prevent that from happening, if you'll keep this piece that's on top, keep it and put it back on every time and seal it up in your baggie, that's going to help a lot to make the life of it longer, to keep it from drying out faster. Now also I'm using our palette knives. If you get embossing paste, you're going to want the palette knives as well. It comes with 3 in a package, and you can tell mine are well loved. They get kind of stained, even though I've cleaned them, they still kind of get stuff on them. But there's these 3 different ones in there, so we're going to use those. I'm trying to set some of this stuff aside here. And then the other thing I'm featuring are the Artistic Mix Decorative Masks. There are 5 in this package, 5 different masks in here that you can use for different things. You don't, not just for embossing paste, you can use your blending brushes with ink over them. Lots of different uses for those. So those are fun also. So those are the things I'm featuring today. Now, the first card. This is the mask out of that collection that I'm going to use. That's one of my favorite ones in there. So that's what I'm going to use on this first project. And the stamp set I'm featuring is Layering Leaves. This is a really great stamp set. For one thing, I love the sentiments. They're all shown 85% in this picture, so they're actually bigger than what you see here. Love the fonts, love all the sentiments in this, and it coordinates with this bow punch, which we've had for a year or two. I can't remember how long, but it's not, so this is not bundled together as a bundled price because this has been around for a while. But this stamp set coordinates with it, so I'm going to use this along with this. But this is on sale today, Layering Leaves. I think... I want to say it's on sale for like $17 if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, it's a good one. So I'm going to be using that. Let me get the stuff I need out of here. Set it over here. I've got too many things on my desk. All right. The first thing that we are going to need for this project is a piece. This is a 5 1/4 by 4-inch piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock. I'm going to use it just plain white, just like it comes on this background. The second card I'm going to color it because I'm going to show you how you can make it different colors too, but I'm going to use it white. So the white, it shows up beautifully on any background. I'll show it to you. I'll show you a finished card later with it on a pale, soft, subtle background. But this, on a darker color, it really shows up pretty too. So we're going to start by laying I'm using my grid paper here to make sure that that is straight. And then I'm also using it to make sure that this is straight, because this does, have a pattern that I don't really necessarily want crooked. And then I'm just going to use some washi tape to hold it in place. I'm just going to do 2 corners to just kind of help it from moving. You could skip this step if you feel confident that you can just hold it, which a lot of times I do, but I'm just going to go ahead and tape the corners down like that. Okay, and then we're going to use this palette knife. Here's what this stuff looks like. You can tell I've been using it. I'm going to pull out a little bit with this palette knife and just spread it. It's like we're frosting a cake. You just start spreading it around. I don't know if you can see, you probably can't at this point. And I don't necessarily want it to go completely, I don't want it to necessarily cover the whole thing. Like I want it to be kind of a little vintagey looking. So I want it to kind of cut off on the ends a little bit. But you can go over the entire thing if you wanted to. Totally up to you, but just keep spreading, and then you want to go back and get off the excess. Like make sure it's a nice thin layer. You can put it on thicker if you want to, but just make sure that you've got it how you want it, everything covered that you want. And I'm letting it just kind of cut off on the ends a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna scrape off the rest. I'm always gonna put my lid back on in between. I don't want that to dry out. And the other key thing is you want to have a pan of water close by, because I'm just going to drop this in that pan of water and I don't have to worry about it drying on there. Same for the stencil. Then you can just wash them off later when you have a chance, as long as you get it in some water, but you don't want it to dry on anything, because once it's dry, it's on there. So I don't want it to dry on my stencil. So I'm going to dump that in my little pan of water over here. So just have a little water hand. Oh, and the thing I didn't bring in here, of course, there's always something, is paper towels to wipe my hands off. But that's all right. I'm just going to make sure that I get them dried off on something. Okay, so here we have, this is what it looks like afterwards. I'm going to hold it up and see if you can see the shimmery. Can you see? And the texture, how it's raised up on there. This little camera that I have is an autofocus, so sometimes it takes a minute to focus in. So that's what that looks like. And it takes a bit. You can use your heat tool. If you want to dry it quickly, you can use your heat tool and dry it. But if you just let it sit, it's going to take about 30 minutes or so to dry. So it's not a super long time, but, you know, long enough that for my purposes today, I already have one done that's dry. I did this earlier today. So I'm going to set this other one to the side. And I've got this one already done. And you can see I kind of left it blank on some of the corners there. So let's go ahead and build our card now. I've got another piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock that I have scored in half. I've cut in half and scored. And then I'm going to just layer this one on top. Okie dokie. So we'll put that right here. Oh, wait. I don't want to stick that down yet. See, I'm doing the thing. This is what everybody does at classes, too. We stick things down before we're ready because I want to put some ribbon around this before I stick it down. So I'm just going to try not to press that down too hard on my paper so that it doesn't stick to it. But I'm putting, this is a 4 by 1.5 inch piece of Designer Series paper. It is the Masterfully Made paper, which is beautiful paper. All right. So before I stick this down, I want to put some gold. This is the Simply Elegant trim. It comes in gold and silver. And I want to do like a double wrap around this. I want to wrap it twice. I'm going to stick it right there where I already had some adhesive on there. Wrap it around twice. And then stick it to the back. Whoops, it came loose over there. That's all right, I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Ah, I'm just all thumbs today for some reason. All right, let me stick this down right here. Y'all, hopefully I won't start hacking here in a minute. I was sick last week. That's why I was not on here last Wednesday, because I was feeling terrible, which I'm much, much better. But I do still have that, you know, lingering cough. That's always the last thing to go. And a little congestion. So I did take some medicine before I got on here, so I'm hoping the cough suppressant will help me to not hack through this video. I'll just apologize ahead of time if I do. Okay, now I've stuck that down, and I've got, yeah, I did put that. I was looking at the words. I'm like, is that upside down? No, it's not. I see some of the words going the right way. I think it's just designed where it can go any direction. All right, I'll put a bow on there in a minute. Right now, we're going to finish up this card. Okay, so this, let me show you the paper. This is a piece of this distressed gold specialty paper, which I love the look of this paper. It's so pretty. And I cut it out. I cut out the circle with the Stylish Shapes die. I think it's the second from the largest circle. And then to make it even more, do you see how it's textured even more and distressed more? I ran it through the, oh, I should have looked up the name of this because these things don't have the name on them. Oh, it's an embossing folder called something. Art something, or I can't remember. So if anybody knows, go ahead and let me know. But anyway, I ran it through there, and that just kind of enhances the distressed look of this gold paper. I think it makes it look extra cool. So I used that. That's how I got this circle, and I'm going to pop this up. Pop this up. right here. Thank you, Andrea. I am much better. My husband, we were both sick, so we were both down last week. I'll put it about right here. I want to leave room on the right side for a bow, so I'm going to put that about right there. All right, now we're going to do a little stamping with our layered leaves stamp set. I'm going to start with using Pretty Peacock, and let's see. I think it's this one, yeah. Okay, I'm going to do the outline leaf. Oh, and here's a tip that I try to mention all the time, but before you stamp something that you're going to punch, see, look, if I'd stamped it like this, I would have had a hard time punching that out because it's going this way. So I always look at the bottom of my punch and think, okay, and also I didn't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way to match up the punch. So I'm going to stamp it just like this so that it'll match up easily when I'm going to punch it out. And then this is a fill-in one of solid leaves. Uh-oh. Sorry. And I'm going to stamp it off one time to get a lighter shade. And then I'm going to just stamp this over here. I noticed on last week's video when I watched it back that my head was right in the way and you couldn't even see what I was doing but it's just really hard to not get right on top of it. So I'm trying not to get in the camera. Oh, I did it. Okay. So see, that gives it that little bit lighter shade. If I had stamped it before stamping it off, you really wouldn't have seen the detail in it very much. Okay, I do need this stamp again, so I'm going to clean that one off with my Stampin' Scrub, which is over there behind me on my desk. I think that's the only thing I have to use twice. And then, oh my gosh, did y'all see that? I just whacked the whole table with my knee. Sorry. Okay, we need this other leaf. This one is a little different. Let's leave the Pretty Peacock out because I need that again in a minute. We're going to use Lemon Lime Twist. By the way, this color combo I got from the Masterfully Made paper. It's Pretty Peacock, Lemon Lime Twist, and Berry Burst are the colors that I'm using in this. And that's where I got the idea for it, is from the paper. Alright, so this one also needs to go this direction. And I'm going to do the same thing where I stamp this off one time. I'm just going to line this up. Again, I'm trying not to put my head in the camera and be able to see it. Okay, there we go. So there are the two leaves. We don't need this color yet, so we can close it up. So let's go ahead and punch those two leaves out with our bow punch. I hope I'm calling this the right thing. I think it's called the bow punch. Let's see. There's one. And honestly, I like to do it when I stamp something to be punched. I want to do it where my paper is going to have a handle on it to hold on to. Line that up and punch. Okay, there's number 2. We don't need these little, we're going to stamp one of those and punch it. Alright, we're done with that piece. Now I've got another little scrap here that we need to do Berry Burst with this little, now see, I'm going to look, because that one's going the opposite way. So I want to stamp this one going this direction. That back over there, and we will punch this guy out. Match that up. I just kind of press down on it slightly to move it around to where it's lined up good, and then punch. Okay, so that's punched. We're done with all of that. Now on this little piece, this is from the Nested Labels dies. another one of my new favorite die sets, and I need the hello out of that stamp set. And I'm going to stamp it on this label. Just like that. Okay, now we're ready to put this together. So we need some glue dots. That's what I prefer when I am like sticking things where they're gonna like foliage where it pokes out. I don't want the whole thing stuck down flat. Let me move this up where we can see it good. Because I want, I really just want this to stick right here. Like I don't want the whole thing. I want this to be loose where it's kind of popping up. You could use a little dab of glue right in that same spot, but you know, then I'll have it all over me, and I'd rather just do it this way. Faster and easier. Just trying to get this kind of how I want it, about like that. And then this one, just gonna roll that up a little bit in the bag. And this one I don't want sticking up in between those like that. And then you won't even see all those stems because I'm going to cover them up like that. So let's put this on with dimensionals. Where'd they go? Oh, look, y'all. There's none left on here. Because I'm not using the rest of those. For those of you that know me, you know I don't like to use those edges. Too much trouble. I have to cut them. And if I have to cut them, I'm not using them. I have to admit, there are times that I'm too lazy to get up and go get another package or something, and I will cut them. So basically, it all comes down to laziness. All right, so there's that. We just need to add a bow, which I'm just going to tie. I'm not going to tie it around that because this cord gets a little bulky if I were to have an extra knot in there. So I'm just going to, it's also very slick. Like it's a little hard to tie, but I'm just going to make a bow and then we'll glue dot it on there. Come on. Pull it tight because it is. Okay, let's trim that a little bit. Now we just need a glue dot for that. Just gonna stick that right there, and we are done. And I don't even think it needs embellishments or anything because it's really got a lot of glitz going on there already with the gold and the shimmery. I don't know if you can see all the shimmering in that background, but it has a lot. You could add more if you wanted to, but I think it looks good just like that. Sometimes less is more. So there is card and technique number 1, and that's just using the embossing paste, just white like it comes, as a background. All right, so card 1. Let's do card number 2 now. All right, let me shift around my little trays here so I can get the other one nearby. All right, I've got another piece of scratch paper to do my embossing paste on. Okay, this time we are using white. This is just plain old basic white cardstock. All right, so I'm using the grid paper again to kind of line that up. And this one is this plaid stencil, which I love plaid, so I was excited about using this. And this one, I do want to cover the entire thing. I want the pattern on the whole background. So I'm going to stick this down. I'm using, the grid paper is so handy for getting things lined up well. down there. A piece up here. All right, so we got that stuck down. Now, I'm not going to do white on white, although white on white is cool also, but I'm going to make this a color. And I'm going to make it Poppy Parade, because I love me some red. Okay, what we need is a re-inker. I've got the Poppy Parade re-inker. I'm going to pull out some of this embossing paste. I want to cover the whole thing, so I'm going to get a pretty good amount. I don't want to get like too much, because I'm going to color it, and it'll just be wasted if I don't use it all. But also I've got to dye it, and so I really need to get the one batch, the right color. So I'm going to do that and add about 2 drops to this to start with. Whoops, I think it was 3. But you can kind of start with 1 or 2 drops on these, and then you can always add more to get it a darker color if you want. Because you can't take it away once you've got it on there. So it's better to start with less and just add more. I need to get my, well, you know what? I'm just going to use this palette knife, because the other one's in water, and I forgot to bring paper towels. So this one will work just fine. So we're going to mix that up, and I think that color looks pretty good. It's like a lighter shade of Poppy Parade. So let's put it on here and start spreading. I really just wanted to break out in a song just then, but I'm not going to. You know, start spreading the news. All right, so I'm going to cover this whole thing. I may have made a little too much, but that's okay. And you probably could, like if you dye it, you probably could save it for a bit in a airtight container, and it would stay wet. So that's an option too, but I usually just try to make as much as I need. So this one, I'm covering the whole thing. And then you kind of, it's got bigger areas, so you kind of need to, you know, play with it a bit to get it even. Make sure it's all covered good. Just trying to wipe off this excess. Okay. This is fun. Now, don't you wish you were playing with some embossing paste? Hopefully it'll make you want to get yours out and play with it if you have it, and get some if you don't. Everybody needs embossing paste. Okay, I think that's good enough, because of course you know I have one already done. But look, oh, there was a good bit left there, but I'm not going to save it. It's going to dry, so I'm actually going to scoop that off onto something. Put that in my, there we go. Put that into my water. I really wish I had brought paper towels over, because my hands are getting wet every time I put that in there. Okay, let's pull this off and see what we got. Ta-da! So fun. Okay, wait, let me get this stencil in some water before I do anything else. Okay. And let's see if you can see, if I pull it away from the, try not to get it all over my hands. Lift it up gently. So look how cool that looks. And it's shimmery too. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if it'll focus. Focus. Oh yeah, you can see a little shimmer there. Okay, I'm going to set that one over to dry. Oh, I did get it on me. Perhaps on my wedding ring. Set this over here out of the way. That's all right. I'm good. Oh, I better cover up my embossing paste. Like I said, keep that covered up. All right, let's get going now on the card. Okay, so for this card, I'm using this stamp set by my side. This was new last year, I think, and it carried over. But It is such a cute stamp set. I don't know about you, but it called to me when I saw it because I think the little people on there are just adorable, and it's got some fun sentiments in there. So again, this one's on sale. It's probably around a $20 stamp set or something. So, you know, it's probably on, anyway, it's 15% off, however much it is. So you can get that today on sale. So that's what I'm going to be using. Now let me show you. Here's the dried one that I finished, that I did this morning. Let's see if you can see the shimmer in that. So fun. I love that plaid background. And I'm making this yellow and red and black. It's one of my favorite color schemes. I love yellow. This is Daffodil Delight and Poppy Parade that we're using together. So let's pull everything in. Here's my card base. It's Poppy Parade. And I am going to layer and it's thick once it's got that embossing paste on there. I'm going to layer that onto Daffodil Delight cardstock. And you may want to use just a little more adhesive than usual because it is heavier with the paste on it. Especially this particular stencil. It has, you know, it's thick, so it's got a lot of solid area to cover with embossing paste. So I'm going to push that down. And then this is a piece of the Brights Designer Series paper, the 6x6. It's the Daffodil Delight out of there. And I cut it to, because this white, by the way, is 3 3/4 by 5. And then the yellow is 5 1/4 by 4. And then this piece is 1 1/2 by 4. I don't know if you noticed, but this is kind of very similar to the same template of the first card. Just shows how you can use the same template and get lots of different looks from it, which I really love. Okay, and once again, I'm going to put some ribbon. You know, I was looking and looking, I'm like, what ribbon do we have? And I'm like, oh, the black. The black gingham is perfect. That black gingham, I just love it with so much stuff. And especially with this color scheme, I like it. So I'm going to put a piece down like this. Wrap around. I just put a little adhesive on the back and stuck it down. And this is the best way to do your ribbon around a card so that you don't waste it back here. And it makes it easier for tying your bow around the front too. Alright, so let's go ahead and layer that up. Alright. So there is the basic card part. Now we're going to do some stamping and some coloring. So I'm using this little girl. She's so cute, and I have not used her yet, and I really wanted to. So that's who I'm using today. All right. Stamp that, and this is black memento ink that I'm stamping in, because that is the right one to use for coloring with Stampin' Blends. Okay, so now let's just do a little coloring on her. I'm going to start with her hair. Now for her hair, I'm using the 100, which I think is the darkest, yeah, I think it's the darkest skin tone duo in our natural skin tones. So I'm going to give her some dark curly hair. Her hair's so cute. And as it dries, it still shows the texture in the image there. And I most of the time use the nub tip. I just feel like I can control better with it. I'm just kind of going over those hairs that are hanging out there a little bit to make them brown. Okay, so there's her dark brown hair. And then for her skin tone, I'm using, this is 500, so that's probably Oh, they're those numbered ones. I forget which group that's in, but we're going to give her some pretty brown skin. I don't know if it's like the medium dark. Let's see. They start down at 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. This may be like the, yeah, I don't know. They have names, I think, too, but I just can't remember. But it's 500. They have numbers. Color her little legs and her little hand right there. Okay, and then I'm just going to use the light bubble bath just to do a little bit of a rosy cheek right here. For a little rosy cheek. All right, now her little dress. Got to pull in some Poppy Parade and yellow to match the card. So I'm using a little dark and then the light. There's her little top, and then her skirt will make yellow. This is Daffodil Delight. That's the dark. I'm going to go over that with the light. Oh, hey, gal. I just saw that you had joined us. Glad you're here. All right, so there's her little dress, and then the butterfly, I'm going to use Tempting Turquoise for it. Just to pull in a little different color. Just using the dark to go around the edges. And then the light on the inside. All right. So there's our little butterfly. Okay, so there she's all colored. And now I'm just going to pop her up right here with some dimensionals. Pull off those backs. She's going to go right here. Like that. And then let's see, we need to do our sentiment. And I am going to do the Hi, Sweet Friend, because I like that sentiment. So that's just going to stamp. Sorry if my head, oh, see, I saw that I did this last week. My head was in the thing, but it's just so hard. Maybe if I just move it down here. I can't see. Unless I look straight. See, I didn't get it on there. Okay, my head's going to have to be in there, y'all. Sorry. I'll do it quickly. There, that's better. I have to be able to see right over it. All right, now I'm just going to trim the ends like this at an angle. Just a quick and easy, and that's just a little half-inch piece of white cardstock. And it's going to go right here. So I just need a little mini dimensional on one end and then a little adhesive on that end, because it's going to hang off the edge here. Like that. And then we just need to do our bow right here. This one I am going to tie through here because this ribbon is pretty thin. Just tie a piece into a bow. Just adjusting it as I go a little bit here. Love this ribbon. Trim that off a little bit. And then I am going to put just a few embellishments on this one. Excuse me. These are the classic, I don't have a label on those, classic matte dots, I believe. Let's see, I may not have brought my take your pick tool over here. That's all right, I'll just use my scissors. I'm just going to put one like right here. I'm just going to use the black ones to kind of tie in the black ribbon that I used. Put a couple like right there. And there we have it. There's that one. So there's two fun techniques. Here's the other one. Two fun techniques with the embossing paste. The background, if you're just joining, the backgrounds are done with the Shimmery White Embossing Paste. On this one, it's red because I colored it with the Poppy Parade re-inker. Added some ink to it and mixed it up. Let me show you a few other samples of ones. So here's another way I used it on this DSP. I don't know if you can see, but I just colored over like where the snow is. I just took my embossing paste and just kind of spread it here and there to make it look like snow, to give it a little 3D. The rest of it's all the DSP other than this little tree right here. So that's another way you can use it. But the other two techniques, here's one where I colored it boho blue and used one of the other stencils in there, and that's using that's a sneak peek of a stamp set that's coming up soon. It'll be available in September. If you're a demonstrator, you'll be able to pre-order it next in August, because we can pre-order from the new mini if you didn't get it already. We were able to get it a little early if we were participating in an event. So that's that. And then here it is white on, where I just used it white like I did on that first card, but it's on a more subtle color background, so it gives it a little more subtle look than this one. I did the exact same thing with those, but just the color of cardstock you put it on totally changes the look of it. So that's it. So there's my samples for today, and I hope you enjoyed the embossing paste. And if you haven't played with embossing paste yet, get it out and try it, or get some if you don't have any. It's really a very fun medium to use in your crafting. So yeah, so I hope y'all have a great day. Don't forget, all the stamp sets from the annual catalog are on sale all day today, 15% off, so be sure to take advantage of that. And those bonus coupons go through the end of July. So don't miss out on those too. You get one for every $50 you spend, and you can redeem them in August. So you shop now, then you get to shop again in August. So thanks for watching, y'all, and have a great rest of your week. Bye.